story time about how I got kicked out of my apartment at 4 a.m. because of my evil roommate. To start off, I go to Temple University and I'm a transfer, so this is my first school year here, my second semester. I moved on campus. The semester before I lived off campus. So this semester I'm living on campus and they assigned me into a random residence hall. Before moving in, I was emailed a week prior who my roommates were going to be and how many I was going to have. And I was going to have 3. And I looked them up on social medias and I couldn't find them because they weren't using their real names. So my first day, like even having an interaction with my roommates, was the day that I moved in. So the day that I moved in, I met 2 of my roommates, and this residence hall is apartment style. So there's 2 bathrooms, a living room, a kitchen, and 2 bedrooms. So the 2 roommates that I met, they were staying on the one side, and the side I was staying on, that roommate had not moved in yet. So the roommate I was sharing a side with did not move in for 2 weeks. At the end of the 2 weeks, I went home early because there was a snowstorm, so I was gone for 2 weeks. When I get back at the end of my 2 weeks and I moved back in, my roommate had moved in, and I walk into the room and I say hi, but then I look at my side of the room and I notice that my bed sheets were taken off of my bed, that there were red cups and trash that did not belong to me on my desk, and the case of water that I had under my bed was completely empty. I was stun locked when this happened, and I'm not good with confrontation, so I didn't say anything. She ended up calling a boy to like come remove the sheets off of my bed so I could put my sheets and my things back on, but she never apologized for it. And that was my first interaction with her. Later on that same day, I was taking a nap and I woke up because there was loud music blasting, and I'm not exaggerating about how loud it was. It woke me up and I couldn't go back to sleep. And again, my roommate, she did not apologize, nor did she care that she was being loud. And again, I didn't say anything because I'm just, like I said, I'm not a confrontational person. I don't like drama, and I didn't want to get off on a wrong foot considering this was like my first time meeting her. Later on in the same day, her friends would come in and out the room, not knocking, even when she wasn't in there, just walking in. They were being loud. They would leave the door open whenever they left, and she would too. So I was getting no privacy at all. I would just get up and close the door, and they would just come in and leave it open again. And the same night, my roommate brought a guy with her to sleep with her, and they were being intimate 5 feet away from me. And this behavior went on for the course of 2 more days. On the 3rd day, I'm in my room and I'm trying to go to sleep, but I wake up because someone comes into the room and leaves the door open. And there were people who were being loud outside of the bedroom door, so I got up and I closed the door, got back in bed, tried to go back to sleep. Once I get back into bed, someone comes back and they open the door. And I don't know who the person was opening the door initially, because my roommates pretty much were just keeping the apartment door open whenever, so random people could just walk in, their friends. So I don't really know like who's coming in and out the apartment, but someone opened my bedroom door and did not close it when they left. And when I closed it, they opened it back up, and they did this 2 more times. So the 3rd time this happens, I get up and I close the door and I lock it. This time when the individual comes over to open the door and they realize it's locked, they start banging on the door and they say, "Open the door! Open the fucking door! Don't slam the door!" And I realize like this is my roommate. So I get up and I open the door, and keep in mind there's like 7 people in the apartment. And I asked her, like, "What's your problem? What's going on?" And she's like, "Don't slam the fucking door." And I'm like, "I closed the door." And she was like, "No, don't," like just screaming at me. And so I'm recording this entire interaction in case something goes down. And she gets in my face like she's about to hit me or something because I screamed back at her. And we get into a 30-minute long screaming match. And she talks about how I'm rude and I'm disrespectful because I don't talk to her or the other roommates. And she also tries to say that I am dirty and that I don't take care of myself, which is not even true. I've lived with this girl for 3 days. And she was trying to basically imply that I was a horrible roommate because I keep to myself. And keep in mind, like, I'm just introverted and I've always been this way. But considering that you're mad at me and you've been doing all these horrible things to me because I don't talk is kind of weird, because you were sexually harassing me by having sex with a man 5 feet away from me, by being disruptive, by using my stuff when I wasn't even there, taking my sheets off my bed. This girl does not have basic home training. And so we get into this argument that the cops end up getting called and we have to have mediation come into the room. And also, I forgot to mention that this argument wasn't even just with my roommate, it was with 2 other girls. So it was a 3v1. And there were people who were coming in who were friends with my roommate just to watch us argue. And they were threatening me the entire time, asking if I wanted to fight, saying that I'm acting like I want to fight. So mediation comes in and they tell everyone to leave except for me and my roommate to get our side of the situation. And my roommate's going on this rampage saying like, she just wasn't expecting a roommate. She doesn't know how to have roommates. She wasn't expecting me to come back when I was gone for 2 weeks, so she just got too used to being alone. Keep in mind, I'm a twin. I have a twin sister, and I've had roommates before who I've never had a problem with, so I've lived with people my whole life, and I don't know if her making up this stuff about me was to try to make me look like I was wrong in this situation, but I don't know, it was just crazy. By the end of the mediation, we couldn't reach a middle ground, and the mediation basically told us like we have to leave, or one of us has to leave, because we can't be in the room together. And they told me to leave. And like, I'm upset because at this point it's like 2-3 a.m. and they tell me that they're going to send me to an emergency residence hall and to pack up my stuff that I'll need so I can stay there. And keep in mind, like, this residence hall that I'm living in is like a suite, and you're gonna kick me out of this residence hall I pay extra money for to put me into like an emergency room. Like, it's just crazy to me. They also told me they didn't know how long I was going to be in there, that they were going to try to find me somewhere new to live if they were able to. So this isn't even like a guarantee. And I'm still going to be paying the same amount of money in the end anyways. So they told me that I would be escorted, but at this point I decided that I'm just going to go home for the rest of the semester, because there's no point of me staying in a room with people who don't like me. And at the same time, I felt like the mediators and the RAs were invalidating my experience, because like I said, I'm a transfer and this is my first semester there. I've only lived in the room for 2 weeks, and these girls have lived there for months prior to me moving in, that they already had like a stronger connection, that I felt like no one was listening to me and that they were just invalidating my experience. So I packed up everything and I put it in this bin, and they, like I said, they said I was going to get an escort. So when I'm all packed up, it's like 4 at this point, and my mom is like 30 minutes away, and she says she's going to come get me. There was no escort. There was no escort like they said that there would be, and I had to walk across campus at 4 a.m. at night with a bin of all my valuables and belongings in Philly. Like, anything could have happened to me and they didn't care. Like, there was no escort like they promised me. And overall, I feel like my experience was horrible and that I haven't gotten any justice for myself. And I've reached out to multiple people about this situation because I was sexually harassed, and I felt like that they didn't care for my safety because they just let me walk across campus at night knowing anything could happen to me, especially as a woman. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there, that Temple University sucks.
get ready with me while I talk about some of the weird and crazy shit my dad used to do. It's not gonna be like a whole lot because I'm just going to the gym, but okay, so starting off strong with number one, when I would take a shower and it would get to like the 10-15 minute range, over 10 minutes usually, sometimes over 5, kind of just depending what kind of mood he was in, he would quite literally drive to the water company. Well, first he would threaten to kick down my door and come in there if I wasn't out of the shower in like the next 30 seconds. But he would threaten to drive to the water company because we lived in a small town. It's like a really quick drive for him. But drive there and tell them to shut off our water because I was in there for too long. So I just physically could not take a shower anymore. And he actually did that once or twice. Number 2, and this is kind of fitting because I'm doing my makeup right now. But he did not want any trace of makeup on our house, like not even if my friends brought it over or anything. He would get so mad if there was any makeup in the house at all. And I don't know why. Well, actually, I do know why, but that's like a deeper conversation that neither I or you is ready for right now. But basically, one day he just decided to take the time out of his day to like take the drawer out of my little vanity thing that I had at the time, and I had some waterproof mascara and like chapstick in there, maybe some lip gloss. That was quite literally all, and he would even be pissed about that if he found it. But he took his time out of his day to make that for me and put like this little black velvet thing in there in the bottom of it. And he specifically told me that it was for my makeup, like to put makeup in there. And I was like, oh, so like I'm allowed to have makeup now. Okay. But yeah, so I got like a couple more, I don't know, like articles of makeup, whatever the hell you call it. I got like some concealer. Like I've never worn foundation in my life, so it's not even like I had heavy makeup or anything that I wore. I had like some concealer, some primer, and then I had like a lot of my skincare stuff in there too. And again, one more random Tuesday or whatever it was, I come home and I go up to my room. All my stuff is on the floor. Like he had taken that drawer out, dumped it everywhere. And he screams at me. He's in my room when I come home too. And he's like just marveling at the mess that he made on my ground after dumping out all my makeup and stuff. And he's screaming at me at the top of his lungs. He's like, why did you put makeup in here? Why did you do that? What is, like, I made this for you specifically to put stuff in there and you put makeup in there? Guys, he told me to put makeup in there. He told me he made that for my makeup. That's why I put makeup in there. Like, number 3. This one's kind of short, but trust me, it's something. So my dad was extremely racist. Like, I'm just gonna say it blatantly. Like, super, super racist. Whenever we would see any, like, mixed families, whether it be, like, white, African-American, and then, like, Latino, Asian, like, anything, he would be like, oh, there's another one of them inbred families. Like, inbred, it's not the right word. And then he started saying, this is why we have genetic mutations. That's actually quite literally the opposite of why that happens, but I mean, I guess he's a doctor, guys. Whatever he says goes. That's just how it is, so I guess so, bro. Number 4, and probably the last one I'm gonna do for today. So it was the day before my birthday, and I was having 2 friends over. I'm not gonna name drop, but if you're watching this, you know who you are. So my dad told me and my friends to pick out like something to have for breakfast the next morning, and my friends picked out a little bag of those like mini powdered sugar donuts. He's like, yeah, that's like a great breakfast item for you guys to have in the morning, blah, 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 blah. So then the morning of my birthday comes, and my friends woke up a little bit before me, and they ate all the donuts. It's like, I don't care, I didn't want any, not a huge donut person, but my dad wakes up at like noon, and keep in mind, they got up and we got up around like 8 or 9. He wakes up at noon and marches his happy ass down the stairs. My friends were in the living room, like, playing with this weighted ball thing, and I was in the kitchen making some frozen hot chocolate for us. He comes up to me and he's like, where are all the donuts? Keep in mind, he only says, like, rude shit to me when nobody else is around because he's a covert narcissist, but so he's asking me where the donuts are and blah, 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 and I'm like, oh, I think they ate them. I mean, I didn't have any, but they woke up before me, and, like, they probably ate them, like, 3 hours ago for breakfast, and I think they also ate some at night. When I tell you this man was pissed out of his mind, like, and on my birthday, he's screaming at me, but, like, whisper screaming at me behind this cabinet so my friends don't hear. He's like, how could you do that? You inconsiderate little, like, asshole. Why would you do that? You didn't even think to leave a donut for me, the dad who bought you these donuts? Why would you do that? Honey, I was 13 on my birthday, and you're screaming at me because you woke up at noon and didn't wake up in time to get a mini powdered sugar donut that you bought for me and my friends? Because my friends ate them all? What? And I'm offering him to like have these other donuts that we got that we didn't eat. And he's like, no, I wanted these ones. I specifically wanted these ones. He never said that. He never said he wanted a donut. If he would have said he wanted me to save him a donut, I would have saved him a donut. But he didn't say anything. So what am I supposed to do? Regurgitate it from their systems and feed it to him? So yeah, he proceeds to keep screaming at me about it behind the cabinet and slap me across the face with that empty bag of donuts. So, but yeah, that's about all there is to that for today, and I'll put on my fit for the gym and show you. So here's my fit for the gym. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
This is going to be a story time about when I catfished my friend's boyfriend in order to try to catch him cheating. So a little bit of background, I am really good friends with this one girl, and every couple times a year she will go hang out with her old friends from high school, and in prior years she had taken me along for these hangouts most of the time, and it would just be dinner or the club. I never really got super close with any of these people, but obviously I knew them because I had been hanging out with them, you know, a couple of times. The one girl in this group was a really, really beautiful, really talented, nice girl, but she had a loser boyfriend. He was a bouncer at a club that we would all go to frequently, and they had been together for on and off for several years at this point, and she came to my close friend and said, you know, I feel like he's been cheating on me. I don't have any actual proof, but I want proof, and I kind of just want to be done with this guy. So we came up with a plan to kind of catch him in the act, and we had been thinking about this for months, right? Now, to preface, this guy is definitely a loser. He was, I believe, like late 30s, going into his 40s, divorced, has one kid, is a bouncer at a club, most likely cheating, obviously. So we decided that, you know, we were all ready for her to be done with this guy, and we had to go all in to catch him. So our plan was to make this fake Snapchat. We made it months prior, and we used it a bunch, added a bunch of friends, so that it had a snap score and it looked like a real profile. The plan was that me and my close friend would go to the club to do this. Obviously, the girl he was dating could not be there, but we would go to the club and we would bring one of our other friends that he didn't know and wouldn't ever have recognized. He definitely would have recognized my friend. He had known her and seen her several times. Whether or not he would recognize me was debatable. I had met him only briefly once or twice, and when I did, I had like fake blonde hair. So chances are he probably wouldn't recognize me, but better not to take the chance anyway. So we find one of our other friends, and we tell her this plan, and she is all for it. So we're planning this for several months. We pick the date ahead of time. You know, we check with her to make sure that he will be working. Everything's lined up and ready to go. The night that we were prepared to go, well, the afternoon, we text our other friend that was going to come with us to make sure she was still on board. She texts us back and says, well, I actually just found out today that I'm pregnant and I'm feeling really sick. I don't think that I'm going to be able to make it. We were like, all right, we have to regroup, figure out a new plan. We couldn't find anyone else to go with us that last minute, so we decided, you know, screw it, we have to go through with it anyway, and we will just ask around at that club to see if there are any girls that are willing to do this for us. So all that they had to do was go up to him, flatter him a little bit, and ask for his Snapchat. We had this fake Snapchat that we made logged in on both my close friend's phone and the girlfriend's phone. So they were both seeing it. All he had to do was add this fake account on Snapchat and message it, and the girlfriend would then continue messaging him and try to catch him cheating. So we get to the club and we end up asking probably 5 or 6 different girls that we see at the bar if they would be willing to do this for us. And, you know, of course we said, we'll buy you a drink, we'll give you $20, whatever you like. And none of them took us up on it. So we were like, well, crap, we're already here. We drove all the way here to this club. We have to do this. So my friend had come in full disguise. She was wearing a wig. She did really dramatic makeup, but she has a very distinct face. And so we knew that if she approached him, there's a pretty good chance that he would recognize her. So we decided it had to be me that went up and approached him and asked for a Snapchat. So there are 2 bouncers on like the dance floor that night. There's one to the left and one to the right. He's the one to the left, and the one to the right is apparently one of his really good friends that the girlfriend knew pretty well. So I first tried walking up to him and saying, hey, I think that other bouncer is really attractive. Is he single? Could you give me his Snapchat? And I was hoping to avoid any interaction with this actual bouncer that's the boyfriend. But instead of that, this guy goes, yeah, that's my brother. He's single. I'll go get him. At this point, my heart is kind of beating out of my chest. I take my close friend's phone so I can pretend like her phone and the Snapchat are mine. And he comes up over to us, and my friend just kind of turns her back and acts like she's looking at the DJ and dancing. And I try to make a really quick conversation with him and just say, hi, you know, I think you're really handsome. Could I have your Snapchat? And he said, oh my goodness, of course. And he's obviously older, so I put the phone up to him to let him type in his Snapchat name, and he's taking so long that I'm starting to get really nervous that his girlfriend is going to text and ask what's going on. So I say, let me just do it. And I take the phone back, and he tells me his username, and I add him, I say, thanks so much. We turn around, we leave, we book it out of that club. Okay, so me and my close friend go home, and we're talking to the girlfriend, and she says, you know, he added the Snapchat, he's been messaging the Snapchat, send me a picture so I can post it on the story so it seems legitimately. So I send her a picture, you know, the next day I send her like a picture or 2 to post on the story, and eventually he does end up asking to hang out. And this obviously really upset my friend. Well, the girlfriend. This was a couple years ago at this point, so I can't particularly remember exactly what happened, but I think the gist of it was that he was Snapchatting this fake Snapchat and trying to make plans to go out that night or the next night, and the girlfriend was texting him on her own, asking him to hang out, seeing what he wanted to do, and he kept telling her, you know, no, I just want a chill day, I don't want to go out, I'm busy, I can't do anything with you. Obviously, this really upset her. So she made a fake Instagram account to DM herself as someone who works at the club to tell her that he saw the boyfriend flirting with a girl at the club the other day. So she sends the boyfriend a screenshot of this fake Instagram DM that she got, and he immediately clocks it as fake. Because obviously it's not like we were hanging out and talking to him. I approached him for a max of 2 to 3 minutes at most, and then we left the club. So he told her immediately, I know that this is fake. I know that you set someone up to do this. So he ends up basically finding me and my friend's Instagram profiles instantly. And she texts us saying, you know, block this account from your Instagram profile, do not let anyone strange follow you, yada yada. Luckily, I've always been really, really private with the things I post. You know, thank you to my mother, you never post the outside of your house, you never post your address, you never post where you work, you never post your full name, you never so much as post the license plate on your car. So I was good. I blocked the account and I didn't really worry too much about that afterwards. But now, obviously, we can never go back to that club again. So after all of this, I believe they ended up getting back together again. And at that point, I just had to distance myself. We removed each other from our social media just for my own safety. I'm not taking the chances. This guy's not a good guy. I mean, he's been to jail several times. At least from what the girlfriend has told me, he has been violent towards people in the past, so that's not really something that I'm going to take a chance with. Fortunately, her getting back together with this guy really did cause a huge rift, put us in danger. Now, because if we go to hang out with her again, he'll know where we are. I never ended up seeing or speaking to this girl ever again. I do believe that my close friend is still sort of friends with her. They talk sometimes, but they're definitely not as close as they used to be. And yeah, moral of the story is they will always get back together. You will just lose a friend and also be permanently banned from your favorite club. So.
It's 3 a.m. and I want to give y'all a story time about when I went to the mental facility at 17 years old. So this was in the midst of when I was batshit crazy, had like basically dropped out of high school, like was doing hella and like just So it started whenever I went to my therapy appointment. It was my second therapy appointment with this guy, and he basically walked in, locked eyes with me, didn't recognize me, and left. And for some reason, that just set me off. I just started sobbing in the bathroom, like losing my mind, whatever. And my mom was like, get in the car, we're leaving. So we get in the car and we leave, and like we're not driving to my house, so I'm like, where are we going? And she was like, bitch, to the hospital. So naturally I lose my shit and we get to the hospital. I'm still losing my shit. I won't get out of the car. My mom calls my grandparents to come. They come, they try to help de-escalate the situation. It's not fucking working. They call my best friend. She comes. She tries to de-escalate the situation. I guess it worked because out comes a wheelchair and somehow I ended up in it. So they wheel me into the hospital. I get admitted. I'm losing my shit the whole time because like I don't want to go to a mental facility, but it was definitely time. But I'm losing my shit the whole time, and I, am screaming in the room at my mom, basically saying like the worst shit that you could say in this moment. Like, if you send me to this fucking mental facility, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. Like, bitch, shut up. She was like, this is literally why you're going. So as I'm screaming, a doctor comes in and he's basically like, shut the fuck up. Patients are trying to sleep. And I scream like, man, fuck the patients and fuck you too. Like, I'm not da-da-da-da-da-da. And a nurse comes in, throws me on the bed, gives me a shot in my ass, and sedates me. And that's the last thing I remember before waking up in an ambulance. And I'm from Alabama, and I look at the guy and I'm like, where are we going? And he's like, Mississippi. I'm like, oh, that's not good. So I lose my shit, and I don't know how they got me to sleep. Must have had something connected to me and they started injecting my shit, but I don't know. I went back to sleep. So the whole intake process was a shit show. I was obviously not okay. Shocker, losing my shit. One of the things that I was losing my shit about was the fact that they were trying to make me take my nose piercing out, but I had just pierced my nose the night before. Because my grandparents found my weed, and I thought to myself, let me give them something bigger to worry about, so let me pierce my nose. Not that that's even bigger to worry about, but that's how sick I was. That's how my brain worked. But this is important because they end up letting me keep my nose ring, but it ends up being one of the reasons that the whole 5 days I was at the mental facility, I had a 24/7 bodyguard. The reason that I had a 24/7 bodyguard was because I was, one, on suicide watch, and I, two, had a nose piercing, which was a weapon, and 3, I had a broken ankle, which was a point of weakness for other patients to target me. So that was really comforting. But the bodyguard basically was there every single second of the day, watched me sleep, sat in a chair outside my room, not outside my room, in the doorway, just watching me sleep. So that was nice. And would sit next to me in every single conversation that I had, and, literally, with every conversation, hearing me fucking lie whenever this girl goes, how'd you get your broken ankle? And I was running, and she was running from the cops, and I didn't want to sound like a fucking pussy, so I was like, hell yeah, but you know how I broke my ankle? Freeze tag. But I'm not gonna fucking tell her that. But yeah, the bodyguard was there while I would pee and shower and eat and talk to people and go into therapy sessions and whatever. Like, she was just always there. I am anti-mental facility because of this place. Like, that shit did not teach me anything. I did not grow from that experience, like nothing like that. I literally lied my way out of there, like just kissed hella ass. Like, the doctor would be like, so how are we gonna cope whenever like we're about to have these like massive outbursts? And I was like, color, count to 10 before I react, you know, bullshit. I don't know, that shit was not like, that shit just literally gave me trauma, more trauma to add on the trauma. That was the reason that I was batshit fucking crazy. So, like, I do believe in mental facilities, I guess, especially if you admit yourself, but being forced to go to a mental facility against your will is not always helpful, parents. It especially was not helpful at this particular mental facility because the staff was terrible. Like, I remember we were doing a group therapy session and I was talking about my dad and got really worked up, like anxious and whatever. So I went to the nurse's station and was like, can I have my medicine? And they were like, we already gave out medicine. And I was like, no, like, this is my anxiety medicine. And she goes, we already gave out medicine. Why didn't you come get it whenever we were giving it out? And I was like, because I didn't have anxiety whenever you were giving it out. And she was like, you should know whenever you're gonna have anxiety. What? That was crazy. I will say one of the worst things about the mental facility, in my opinion, being as vain as I am, was that there were no mirrors. I was having to look at myself in the reflection of the vending machines and in the reflection of like the blacked out windows that my room had because we weren't allowed to look at daylight, I fucking guess. I guess that's the story, so. Sorry that I suck at telling story times, and that was probably not, that definitely was not linear and kind of all over the place, but if you listened all the way through, sorry again.
Okay, ladies, so whatever you do, don't ever, when I say ever, bring your husband, your boyfriend, whatever the hell you want to call him, with you to your gynecologist appointment. Because this immature asshole that I used to call a boyfriend just broke up with me this morning over my gynecologist appointment. Yeah, let me explain. So my boyfriend and I had a little shindig at our house last night for one of our close friends' birthday. So we had people over late last night, and me and him were up pretty late last night, and I completely forgot this morning when my alarm went off that I had a gynecologist appointment, and it was like 8 a.m. and I had to be there at like 9. I was not feeling quite the best. So I wake him up and I'm like, hey babe, I hate to ask you this, but I really need you to drive me to my doctor's appointment. Like, this was like an important appointment. And he was like, yeah, no problem. So he gets up, he gets showered, I get ready, and we get going. So we're about to pull into the doctor's office, and I was like, yeah, if you want to just sit in the car, that's fine, or just drop me off at the front, you can just go park over there, I'll be out in a little bit. He said, no, I'll go in with you. And I was like, oh, no, you don't have to do all that. You don't have to do all that. Just really drop me off. Well, he insisted that he wanted to go inside with me. So whatever. We get inside and we're getting the waiting room. I get checked in, whatnot. We're sitting there. We're, having a conversation. I'm like, damn, I don't feel good. We're talking about lunch after the doctor's appointment. And my name gets called and he stands up like he's gonna go back there with me, and I was like, no, it's okay, like you can stay out here if you don't care. He's like, no, that's weird, I don't want to just sit here in the waiting room like with a bunch of people, like I'll just go back there with you. So I'm not just gonna sit there and argue with him while there's somebody standing there waiting to take me back to the fucking room. So I was like, okay. So we get back to the room, and I even told him, I was trying to insist. I was like, listen, you don't have to be here for this. Like, they're just gonna check me out, down there and whatnot. And he was like, what do you mean? He's like, what do they do in these situations? Because I'm like getting all dressed out. Like, you have to take everything off, put a little thing on, get on the table, get ready to get all spread eagle. And he looks so fucking confused. And I'm like, do you not know what happens in gynecologists? Have you ever dated a woman before? I'm confused. So like I said, I get undressed. I get on the table. My doctor walks in, who is a male, okay? He's been my doctor since I was literally like 16, so 15 years. Well, when the doctor walks in, I don't think it clicked with my boyfriend that was gonna be who was checking me out down there. So he gets in front of me, in front of my legs, and he's like, yeah, scoot to the edge a little bit more, put your feet in the stirrups, whatnot. I look over at my man, and he looks like he's about to fucking throw up. I told you to wait in the waiting room. Did I not? Not that it fucking should matter. Like, us as women, we all, like, prefer either a man or a woman, whatever. He's just been my doctor for that long. Like, it's just nothing to me. So, he gets the contraption, gets up in there, he's swabbing around, he's looking, whatever. And my doctor goes, he goes, oh. And I'm like, oh, what? What? And I look over again at my man, and he literally is a fucking ghost. So my doctor's like, oh, honey, he's like, yeah, you have some, like, major bruising back there. Way up in there. And I'm like, oh, what, okay. Like, what does that mean exactly? Is that a bad thing? And then I'm like, how the fuck, where the fuck did that get there? And then it dawned on me, last night after everybody had left the shindig that we were hosting for our friend. My man and I took the extra bottle of wine upstairs. We both popped a spicy cube, and, you know, we were getting nasty in the bedroom for a few hours, you know. I completely fucking forgot about that. So, like, it clicked on me. I was like, oh, that's why. But I'm not gonna sit there and tell my doctor that. So I just play dumb, obviously. And I'm like, how did that get there? Like, what do you do about that? And my doctor's like, oh, honey, he said, you just gotta be more careful. You know, if I was as young as you and looked like you and blah, blah, blah. And oh my God. I'm just laughing, whatever, because he's old and whatnot. He's not fucking flirting. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just being nice. And I'm just trying to be nice back, just trying to be funny, whatever, and laugh back. And I look over at my man again, and he is just like, I can't even, I wish I had a picture. So I get done, whatever, I get my clothes back on, and he is not saying a fucking word to me whatsoever. Like, I walk to the checkout, I check out, we're walking to the car, still not saying a word. When we get in the car, and I look at him, I'm like, are you okay? That's when shit literally fucking hits the fan, and he loses it. He starts screaming at me, calling me every fucking name in the book, saying, like, this is not normal, blah, blah, blah. I was flirting with my gynecologist. Continues to yell at me the whole entire ride home. We get home, he literally runs upstairs, packs a bag, and fucking leaves, tells me he's done. And then continues to call me every name in the book again by text after he leaves. I mean, I don't even know what to think right now. I'm honestly thinking that I dodged a bullet at this point, because, like, what man is so immature to think that I'm flirting with my, like, 60-year-old fucking gynecologist? Has anybody's man, like, done something this fucking crazy? Because I'm thinking, like I said, I dodged a bullet, and I'm just glad. I'm like, if he wants to break up with me for something so fucking retarded, like, whatever.
So I saw a lot of people doing this, and I wanted to do it too, but I'm gonna talk about weird, like, punishments I had as a kid. Okay, so for starters, if I was, like, being bad and I got in trouble, my dad, he had, like, an electric fly swatter, the one that zaps you, and he would zap me and my sister, like, with this fly swatter, and yeah, he would just do it until, like, I don't know, he felt as if he didn't need to anymore, but that's one of them. Okay, another punishment that I had was if I got, like, if my room was messy, I would, get my room taken away for, like, a week, and I would have to sleep in the laundry room. Mind you, our laundry room was really, really tiny. So it was like, okay, so, like, to the front door, the laundry room was in there, and it's tiny. Like, it's just a really, really tiny room, and I would have to sleep, like, on the floor in the laundry room, or I would have to sleep in the basement. But I had a really scary basement, so I just slept in the laundry room, but, like, it was so scary. Another one was, I would have to, like, okay, so if I got in trouble, like, we had this fireplace, and we would have to, like, get on our knees and, like, kneel on the fireplace, like, on top of rice, like, on our knees. It was weird. I don't know. Okay, so another rule I had was, like, if I got caught doing something on my phone that I shouldn't be doing, I would get my phone taken away for a whole year. I got my phone taken away for a whole year one time. It was horrible. Okay, this wasn't, like, really a punishment. It was more just, like, a rule. But when I was younger, no, like, this was, like, up until, I don't even know, 7th grade, I would have to put my phone downstairs every night, even on the weekends. Like, it would be at, like, 8 o'clock. And in the summer, I didn't even live with my dad at the time. I lived with my mom.
and I would have to put my phone out in the living room. No, not the living, I would have to put the phone out in my dad's office, and I couldn't grab it because like the office was open, but there was a camera, so I could not grab it. But yeah, I had to put my phone out at like 8, sometimes 8:30. But like I thought it was really stupid because I was like 14 at the time, 13. Okay, another weird punishment I had was if I got in trouble or like I said something that like if I said like a cuss word, I would like have to put. I would like my mom would get. This is my stepmom. My stepmom would get like a sock and put it soap in it, and I would have to put this like I would have to leave this sock with soap in my mouth for 20 minutes. And I remember doing that one time because I was at her work, and she was like working on a customer, and like I think I was like running with like scissors in my hands. I don't know why, but yeah, I think I was running with scissors in my hand, and then she got a sock and she put soap in it, and I had to leave the sock with soap in my mouth. Okay, another punishment that I had was if I was being bad, I would like have to grab onto like the stairs, like the railing of the stairs, and like my mom would hold my legs, and then my dad would get like a metal spoon and like beat my ass. It was like, oh my gosh. And like remember it was on my butt, so like it didn't really hurt that bad, but I would have to like pretend I'd be like ow 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 just so like they wouldn't like hit my ass harder. Okay, so another weird punishment I had was if I like got like a bad grade, which I really never did. I was a really smart kid. But if I got a bad grade, there was this one time I got a C. I don't even know, I think it was in math. My dad would cut my hair so short. I literally had like a whole bob. It was bad. And they would like cut, I would have to get bangs. I'm telling you, they were the most ugliest bangs anyone has ever seen in their whole life. Like it literally looks like a 2-year-old would cut my bangs, and like just like, and they were so choppy, they weren't even or nothing at all. It was just really, really bad. Okay, this wasn't really a punishment, but I saw it as one. So, well, okay, not to them, because I don't know, but, so when I was younger, I had this one babysitter, and oh my gosh, she was horrible. And she spoke Vietnamese, but when I transferred to, a public school, I didn't know any more Vietnamese at all, because my first language was English, but not only, like, me transferring to public school, like, made me lose my English, at the time, my stepmom, like, did not speak any Vietnamese, because she's not Vietnamese, so my dad would stop, like, speaking Vietnamese to us, so me and my sister, like, we kind of lost, like, all of our Vietnamese, and this babysitter, she would talk to us, and I didn't know what she was saying, and then there was this one time that, she asked me a question, and I just said yes. I don't know what, like, who she was saying to, because I couldn't understand her, and I just said yes, and she slapped me on the face, and she would, like, make me sleep on, like, this, like, inside playground thing, but it was, like, really small, and also, like, she was a horrible babysitter. Like, I remember, like, if we had to go, pee, she wouldn't let us use her toilet paper. She just said wipe when you get home, because she didn't want us using her toilet paper. It was really, really weird. And also, there was this one time where I was like with this one like guy that she was also babysitting. I think it was like her nephew, and he like lifted up my shirt one time. Mind you, we were like really young. We were like 6, and he lifted up my shirt, and I told her, I was like, he just lifted up my shirt, and she's like, oh, it's fine. He's just a boy. I was like literally in shock. I was like, what the fuck? And I didn't tell my like dad or anything because I was scared what my dad was gonna do. So I didn't say anything to my parents or nothing, like nothing at all. Yeah, I don't know. She was just like really weird and rude. And then like everyone just like stopped coming there because my cousins went to the same babysitter, and then her mom was telling my like stepmom like how bad it was, and then my stepmom finally pulled us out. But there was like some nights that I would have to spend the night at her house, and I remember there's this one time my dad left me there, and then he picked up my sister, and I thought he was gonna come back, and I cried the whole night because I was like, why did he not pick me up? Because I did not want to spend the night at her house. Okay, that's like all I have so far, but if I think of any more, maybe I'll make a part 2, and then this is the makeup, so bye.
Some days I wake up and decide that I just want to look like a flaming bisexual. And today is one of those days. Stay curious, whores.
With me while I tell you all the embarrassing crap I did in middle school. I was genuinely one of the oddest kids you will ever meet. This is part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, go watch it. Starting off strong. I didn't know that boys existed for about half of my middle school career because I was so focused on being weird. But one day, I decided to up and move schools. This is where my villain arc started, guys. Started to have a crush on this one boy, and I'd never had a crush before. Mind you, I was not cute as a kid. Like, I genuinely was not cute at all. Oh, I still get embarrassed thinking about this. I go up to this dude. Mind you, he has a girlfriend. I sit on the wall. I don't know what I think I was doing. We're, like, doing this project with aluminum foil, and I was like, here's some extra aluminum foil in case your group needed it.
The worst part was that this dude was scared to death, and like I did not realize. I thought I was being nonchalant. I thought I was being so like flirty. Well, my friends come up to me afterwards and they were like, Ava, I saw you flirting over there, and I was like, what? Okay, this one is the worst one, like, period. I was still at the big 6A school. I was in the 6th grade. All of my friends, and I mean all of them, were shorter and half my size, like even the boys. We were doing like cool tricks. All up at the front of the class, and both of my friends were cheerleaders, and so they were doing heel stretches, and I was like, I'm not a cheerleader, but I can do that too. Oh, Ava. Oh, Ava. So I go up there, and I don't know what I had for lunch. I go up there, and I start bringing my leg to my head, which, by the way, can't do it. In the class, everyone is silently watching me. Like, they're already scared, and they're just like, I fart. I'm literally like this, and I just... Worst part is that I didn't even like realize that was embarrassing. I thought it was the funniest crap ever. I just remember like all of my friends just getting up and like walking away. And I mean, I was just laughing. I was having a blast because I thought it was so funny that I farted. It was not funny, and it stunk. Okay, next one, and this one's pretty good too. So when I was younger, I have really thick hair. I decided that since like Alexa from Alexa and Katie was bald, that I could go bald too. I was like, oh my gosh, my hair would be so much easier to deal with if I was just bald. Guess what I decided to do? I thought it was a great idea to make a whole presentation to my mom of why I should go bald. The only reason that I am still not growing out my hair today is because my mom started crying. Oh, I'm sorry. I want to stop there for this video, come back for part 3 because there's still some more crazy things. I'll make more parts the more crazy things I think of. That's it. Bye, guys.
What?
I'm handsome.
Huh?
I'm handsome.
What?
Am I handsome?
Are you happy?
Am I handsome?
Am I you helping me?
Am I handsome?
What?
Goddamn, grandma.
Telling you rules that I had when I was living with my mom. Strict mom edition. Very strict. Little background story. So I was first of all living with my dad, and my mom and dad have been divorced ever since I was like maybe a couple months old. Okay, so it's been a long time since I haven't had my parents together, obviously. So at first I was living with my dad up until like 7th grade. Then I decided to go live with my mom. So I packed all my shit up and I took a one-way flight by myself to Nevada. And I had a phone at my dad's before I went, so I brought my phone with me, obviously. Well, when I got to my mom's, my mom decides it's a good idea to take my phone that my father bought me and hides it in her room where I cannot find it, so didn't have a phone. And guess how long I did not have a phone? I did not have a phone from 8th grade year to almost the end of I did not have a phone from 8th grade year to almost till like the end of freshman year. And let me tell you, it was rough. It was very rough. Because as you know, from 8th grade to freshman year, you're transferring from middle school to high school, at least the school I went to. So, of course, you have your friends, right? You have your friends. Well, normal kids that are in 8th grade to freshmen have a phone. And I'm the only person in the entire school who didn't have a phone. So, you can imagine how that went. Didn't have any way of communicating with my friends outside of school. Nothing. Basically, I had the friends that were at my school, and there was nothing else. And the friends that I had before I moved to Nevada, I had all on the phone that my dad bought me. So when I moved there, I couldn't communicate with them anymore. So basically, they had thought I vanished off the face of the earth, basically. The friends that I have had since I was in kindergarten thought I had vanished off the face of the earth in the 7th grade because I was gone. I had just vanished. I mean, nobody had any connection with me because I did not have a phone. And as you can see, that messed me up pretty bad. And then communicating with my family members that were on my dad's side was, I mean, it was okay because I could just tell my mom that I wanted to call them and I could call them off her phone, but I didn't have a phone of my own anymore, so it would be on her terms. So I couldn't just go on my own phone and call them myself. No. I had to talk to my mom before I even called them.
I had to basically say, hey mom, I want to call my other family. And as you can see, that's how that went. Second rule, I've had an obsession with makeup since I was a wee child, okay? I've had an obsession with makeup since I was maybe 6 years old. Never grew out of it. I still love makeup. But from 8th grade year to freshman year, I was really getting into it. Because if you know anything about the West Coast, there's a lot of girls who wear makeup. Like, I mean, full beats to school, okay? At least on the West Coast, because back here, it's not like that. It's not like that, because nobody would wear full beats of makeup to school. But on the West Coast, baby, them girls were walking around wearing crop tops, a whole nice fit, and then a full beat of makeup all day, the entire school day. So me, wanting to fit in, and just because I liked makeup, wanted to wear makeup. And guess what? The rule that my mother came up with me. I could only wear makeup once a week. Once a week. And if I had exceeded that one day a week, I'm just telling you right now, it was not good for me. Was not good. Literally, she'd make me go out in the backfield because in the West Coast, we don't have, like, grass. Like, there's not many people that have grass because it's really hard to grow out in the desert. Duh. So she would basically make me go out into the backfield, and the backfield is literally a whole piece of dirt. Just dirt. There's no grass, nothing. Just dirt. She would make me go out in the backfield and pick up rocks. Yeah, pick up rocks. For not just a couple minutes, no. For hours. Hours. Out in the heat. Okay, I'm talking 90 degrees, picking up rocks. In the dirt. Yeah, way to spend my summer. Third rule. Another rule I had was I couldn't since I didn't have a phone, I couldn't watch so I had a toddler iPad, okay? And not just any toddler iPad. I mean like an Android Amazon account, like an Amazon toddler iPad. I'm serious, it was a toddler iPad. Toddler iPad. And my mom didn't even buy the iPad. It was my grandma who bought it for my aunt's kids, and then my aunt never ended up taking it, so we just had it in our possession. So my mom gave me a little freedom, what she calls freedom, and she lets me have this toddler iPad from 8th grade year to the end of freshman year. Freshman in high school on a toddler iPad. And guess what was on that toddler iPad? The only thing that was on that toddler iPad was YouTube. YouTube. And if I watched an inappropriate video, in her eyes if in her eyes it was inappropriate, I'd get it taken away. I'd get it taken away until, on her terms, I was ready to have it back. Yeah. If I watched a video that said a curse word in the video, done for. I was dead meat. I would get my throat slit. No, but seriously, I was in trouble. Until I figured out that the App Store was not blocked on this iPad. So you know what I did? I also figured out how to download apps on this iPad. And I had sort of forgotten how to use a device because I didn't have a phone. So I figured out how to download an app where you could text people off of it if you knew their number. So at school the next day, I decided to gather every friend that I had's phone numbers on a piece of paper, and I took it home. And I started texting all my friends from school until my mom found out about that. Then I got it taken away for even longer. Yeah, just for texting my friends from school on a toddler iPad. Fourth rule. Me and my mom and oh my god, can I talk? Me and my mom lived in my grandparents' house, my mom's house, because my mom didn't work. She still doesn't work and doesn't have a job because she's had like 4 back surgeries, which I understand that, okay? But still kind of doesn't make sense to me. Basically, my grandparents would buy soda because they're adults. They can buy soda. Shit. My mom had this rule for me that I could not have any soda unless I asked. So if she found out I drank a soda, I'd be done for. I'd be done. Honestly, be done. 5th rule. And I'm telling you right now, these aren't all the rules that I had. There was way more. I just cannot remember them right now. Trauma block. 5th rule is, 5th rule is, I could not have anybody sleep over at my house since we did not have our own house that we lived in. So if somebody, her point was, I've already asked her about this when I lived there, and I was like, Mom, why can't I have sleepovers with friends? Why can't friends come over? She said it's because it's not our property, and if they get hurt on our property, their moms could sue my grandparents, and we all would be on the streets. That was her reasoning. So I could not sleep over. Nobody could sleep over at my house that I lived in. Yeah. Nobody. I could go over to other people's houses, but on her terms. Yeah. So, yeah. That is all the rules I can think of right now, but that's not even the worst of them. Let me know if you want a part 2.